Amazing. Hey guys, happy Friday, TGIF. And not only is it Friday, it's World Kindness Day, and it's Friday the 13th. Little scary, but actually it's amazing. I think we're all doing good. Hopefully you're doing wonderful. And I just want to say welcome into Social Pulse Weekly. Usually we only have one guest on the show, but today we have three amazing guests, which I'm so excited for. So get ready, get pumped, because it's going to be amazing. You are going to learn a lot. You want to get your notebooks, you want to get a pen, you want to write all these tips down, because you're going to be able to learn a lot from this, implement it directly into your strategy, and just whoosh, the holidays are going to be incredible. But with that said, hi everyone. Hopefully you're doing amazing. And if you're joining us, let us know who you are, where you're watching us from, and something you're looking forward to for the rest of 2020. We've got Anthony in the house. Happy World Kindness Day to you. I like to consider World Kindness Day every single day, but I love that we're focusing on it and spreading all the love. We were doing a lot of that behind the scenes. And so we love all of you, and thank you for all of your support. We also have an amazing show sponsor that I just want to briefly talk about, Julia. Now, she's actually one of our speakers in the Social Pulse Summit. She is a social media enthusiast who loves to excite, inspire, and motivate people to cut through the digital clutter by being authentic and vulnerable online. So Julia, thank you so much for joining us. And I've heard your presentation for the summit is amazing. So if you have not registered for the Social Pulse Summit yet, you need to do that right now. Just go to summit.agorapulse.com. It's free, 1,000% free. We just want to help you. That's our ultimate goal at Agora Pulse. With that said, we've got Trisha in the house. She's speaking as well, the Agora Pulse family. We are here for you guys. Trisha is also speaking at that summit as well. But first, before we kick it off with our guests, let's geek out about some social media news, right? So something that you guys probably noticed, and Instagram hasn't done in several years, is they redesigned their home screen for the first time, adding Reels and Shop tabs, which basically, if they're doing that, you know their focus now is on Reels and obviously, you know, Shop, e-commerce, all that stuff. So if you haven't tried Reels yet, looked into Reels, you want to think about doing that. But reading a little insert here, Instagram's major design changes is the first time in years. They've announced that it's adding Reels and Shop tabs to the home screen, basically showing where their priorities are. Now, the Reels tab will, of course, lead users to Reels, which are the short form videos, just like TikTok. Instagram is really good at just seeing what's going and working well on other platforms and incorporating it into theirs. And also the Shop tab as well. So I'm interested to see anyone that is out there. Let me know if you've seen this, you like this new design. Give me a thumbs up or give me a thumbs down if you're just like, ooh, I'm not sure so much. And we've got George in the house too. George, how are you doing? So also, with that said, let me know if you like the new redesign. And let's talk about TikTok really quick. So TikTok is adding new options to display nonprofit fundraisers on your profile. Now, this is kind of a big deal. You can choose any fundraiser that you want and add it to your profile, which is kind of a big deal and really cool because Giving Tuesday is coming up really soon too. So this is something that's really positive. And
looks like we lost Jennifer. Let me take that
Sorry
over
to get it
now.
for a second there, guys.
No, sorry. That was a glitch in the matrix. Jennifer left the broadcast and then put Katie
Friday
full screen.
13, y'all. We planned
Sorry,
this
Katie.
whole thing.
Oh, no, you're
We're
fine.
acting
I
right
should have jumped in and said something. I was like, hang on, that's me.
I think it's Sarah's fault. I think it's Sarah's plant's fault.
It is.
It's the ghost of the plant.
It's the ghost of the plant.
Wait, plant ghost. There we go. Hashtag
So
plant
Scott's
ghost.
saying, that Katie should take over the show. There's Jennifer.
Absolutely.
You guys, this has happened 2 times now when I've been live and I gotten kicked off, and I don't know what it is. So we have.
I didn't do it. I just want to make that very
I'm blaming
clear.
Friday
It
the
wasn't me,
13th.
and I'm
Yes,
leaving.
I think it is Friday the 13th.
It is Friday the 13th. It's
Yeah.
Friday the 13th, 2020.
Yes. Yeah. So fingers crossed, guys, that everything stays good for the rest of the show. But I love all you guys. You got a sneak peek of our guests too. But really quick, going back to the news. So talking about TikTok adding the nonprofit display option, where you can just add a nonprofit to your profile and anybody can click on that and make a donation to the nonprofit of your choice, which I absolutely love. Last but not least, Twitter has shared some new insights into key trends leading into the holiday season. So I can't believe it's the holidays. I don't know about you. I can't believe it's already November. But something that they've talked about is growth in impressions for holiday-related tweets is up 59% year over year from 2019 to 2020. Also, trending topics in holiday tweets, giving is up 40%, gifts are up 19%, shopping is up 9%. So, and what they talked about is the fact that people are home, right? We've got the coronavirus still, they're trying to be smart and safe, and they're starting to invest in simple things like comfy clothes, electronics, things to make them more comfortable in their home. So this is something to think about. This is a great article to look at if you're thinking of when you're coming up with your advertising strategy for the holidays. Definitely something to look at. With that said, let's get to our amazing guests. But before that, I want to introduce each and every single one of them. So let's first kick it off with Sarah Evans. So she is the founder of Seven Strategy, is a digital strategist and global brand correspondent who works with companies worldwide to create and improve their social and digital strategies, advising on branding, marketing, advertising, and public relations. Additionally, Sarah is a digital correspondent for several companies, including PayPal, Cox Communications, MGM International, Walmart, the Shorty Awards, and more. Sarah got her start by helping small to mid-sized businesses build their digital PR efforts. And previously, Sarah worked with a Chicago area crisis center to raise more than $160,000 in 3 weeks exclusively via social media, which, wow, Sarah, let's talk about that. And is honored to be a member of the Guinness Book of World Record holding the hashtag Beat Cancer team. So with that said, Sarah, welcome to the house. I'm so excited that you are here joining us, and we are going to geek out with you and everyone else a lot more. Let's get to our second guest, who is Troy Sandage. He's a digital marketing strategist who empowers brands to increase social engagement, elevate brand authority, and maximize revenue through his DART marketing method and Clover business framework. If you don't know it already, he loves his acronyms and they're amazing. He has so many of them. He is currently a chief strategy officer for a national brand agency for social good, as well as the founder and marketing strategy executive of his own marketing strategy consulting firm, Fine Troy Marketing Solutions. The individualized marketing strategies, symptoms, and solutions Troy develops for SMBs to Fortune 500 companies have cumulatively generated millions in revenue and counting. You guys, all of these people here are kind of a big deal. In case you didn't know that already, it's true, they are. So Troy, thank you so much for joining us and welcome to the party. This is our Friday the 13th World Kindness Day party. So I'm so excited you're here with us. And last but not least is Katie Fox. She is the marketing manager at Ecamm. Now, if you're not utilizing Ecamm in some way, you need to be. I love Ecamm, and it's amazing the different abilities and things that allows you to do to make your presentation stand out, your live video, anything you could imagine, Ecamm can probably do. She spends her time working closely with live streamers and live streamers. That's what she does. And to be from all industries. So she works and collectively with all of them collaborating with them. So she's an incredibly big deal. So if you don't know Katie, you need to start knowing her now. And that's why we have everyone in the house. The party's here. The party started. Yay. How are you guys doing?
Happy Friday.
Friday.
Cheers, we did it. You guys, I wish you guys could be with us behind the scenes because we were just geeking out, spreading so much love. Maybe we should just have the pre-show live
Show
somewhere.
a pre-show. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Trisha says, hey, Sarah, Troy, and Katie. Seriously, thank you so much because I know we're all getting ready for the holidays. We're all getting ready for end of the year goals, all that stuff. So I know your time is absolutely precious. And so let's dive right in, right? And first of all, I want to hear from each of you. First of all, how you're doing. And second of all, we have a Twitter summit coming up, Social Pulse Summit, Twitter edition. All of you guys are speaking at it. And I would love to know from each of you how you utilize Twitter and maximize its power. And let's start with you, Sarah.
I knew you were gonna. Let's start with anytime Mike or Jennifer ask me to do anything, it's an automatic yes. So there's that.
We love you.
Number two, how am I doing? I feel like it's so easy to say everything's perfect, everything's great. This has been a stressful week. If any of you parents have distance learners and are working from home, I feel you. It's not always easy, but we're all getting through it, and things could be much, much worse. So I'm thankful for what we have. How I use Twitter, I'm actually breaking that down right now for my summit talk in the form of tech stacks. So I want to know actually from listeners here what I'm missing, because when I think about Twitter, I think about the fundamentals, all the pieces I need to use to how to actually use it, how I best curate my feed, all of the actions and things I use to create content, my workflow, and then how to build communities. So that's what I've segmented my Twitter usage out into. But if you have a way that you're using Twitter or want to do something more effectively, let me know and I'll build out a tools stack just for you.
And you guys, so Sarah is incredible and amazing. I've seen her speak at Social Fresh and so many other digital summits. She's incredible. So the fact that you could potentially contribute to something to her talk where she actually does research on it, you want to do that. Say it, mention it now. There are no silly ideas. We're brainstorming live together. So do that. Put it in the comments so she can put it in her talk as well. Now let's get to you, Troy. Troy, how are you doing and how do you maximize the power of Twitter?
Well, without Twitter, there would be no Find Troy. So I think that just sets the stage right there. I am doing great. I'm thankful for life. It's Friday the 13th, but hey, it's still another Friday. So Friday. Twitter for me this year has been different. It's been therapeutic. I think we all know this, have been able to express our voices and opinions in a different way than we normally would. Even on the professional side of things, you're seeing brands getting involved in these communities and having these deeper, richer conversations. Like Twitter chats are not just cute little, oh, let's just throw out a few questions and just jab. We're actually having discussions that are carrying on into the DMs, carrying on to video calls, other live streams, and there's other things coming out of that. And that's what I've been loving about the platform as is. There's a lot of other stuff going on with it, but I think right now it's just, we're learning how to be more authentic. We're learning how to articulate ourselves and stand up for our voice. And brands now have that opportunity to expand a little bit more into those discussions.
I love that. And I can't wait for your talk. Anything that Troy touches turns into pure gold. So basically, like literally you want to live it. I wish you could. This is what the power of being able to see people behind the scenes. He's just like, yep, bring it. No, but this is so true. Everyone here turns everything into pure gold. And Katie, that brings us to you because you are gold. Your walls are gold. You're wearing a gold sweater, like literally. So tell us, first of all, how you're doing and how you help utilize the power of Twitter at Ecamm.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm doing great this week. I mean, like Sarah was saying, it's been a really crazy busy week. I have 2 little kids at home too, so I feel you. I feel you, parents. Trying to help with remote schooling is tough. But I've also had the pleasure to be on just a ton of videos this week. I'm often behind the scenes and not necessarily out on camera. So it's been a really great learning week for me, getting to spend a lot of time with some really brilliant minds and getting to network with people. So doing really well. And as far as Twitter goes, I really love Twitter. I think when I first started getting into it, it was kind of one of those platforms that was really fast-paced and really intense. And I feel like lately it's really been incredibly focused on authentic interactions. I've been learning a ton. It's been a really supportive and great community for us, and really helping to support live streamers and really seeing all of the amazing content that people are creating and getting out there. A lot of really deep and great conversations going on. So it's just been a really great platform for us.
I love that. And a little sneak peek into just how I maximize on Twitter. Actually, Twitter is how I fell in love with social media. I used Twitter more than any other social media tool when I was in the weather industry, meteorology, and in journalism, because it's so timely. It's the least impacted by an algorithm. Like, you would not post a tornado warning on a Facebook post because people could see it 2 days after and think there's a tornado coming their way. So, but I fell in love with Twitter, connecting with people, following hashtags, Twitter chats, all of it. And I feel like people don't, I know the hot things are like TikTok and Instagram, but Twitter, oh my gosh, it's amazing the conversations, just like Troy was saying, that happen and occur in Twitter chats. Just like agency chat that we have on Thursdays at 2:00 on Agorapulse. I mean, it's incredible the in-depth conversations you have. So if you have kind of pushed Twitter to the side, I think the conversation that we're going to have is going to help you be like, oh, wait a minute, maybe I should put Twitter at the forefront of my social media strategy as we head into the new year. But with that said, I have a question for you, Sarah. We're going to go round robin. So Sarah, your session is titled, and I know you just said it, The Power of Your Social Tech Stack. And you already gave us a little bit of a sneak peek of it. And so I would love to know, from your experience in PR, in media and everything else, some of the different, maybe powerful ways that you guys have utilized Twitter for business, for awareness, for conversation, for all of those different things.
Well, just for Agorapulse, over the past about 2 weeks, I've been tracking the number of media opportunities that I've either secured or used it to like start the conversation about a potential story. And I'd say Twitter alone has accounted for at least 70% of those media opportunities. It allows me to do super curated research. Now, I'm a PR person, so of course I have subscription to different media assets and journalism resource. You can research and find media lists, but Twitter has been the most effective for really delving into things real time. And Twitter lists are the other really big thing. I've curated a ton of Twitter lists that have to do with journalists, whether they're at specific outlets or geographic regions. And like a big nerd, I create iOS shortcuts on my phone to pop up and remind me to check all of these lists and find these journalists and see what they're talking about every day. So from that perspective, it's an essential tool for what I do.
Gosh, I love that. And Eric Fisher made a good point. He said, Twitter is where the celebrities are and the news is and where things trend. Key thing is where things trend. This is so true. If anything is going on in the world, you will see it on there probably faster than any other social media platform. So I love that, Sarah. And, you and I have somewhat similar backgrounds working in media and everything else. And that's what, we helped utilize it for as well, different news stories and everything else. So I love that. Now, Troy, your talk is Twitter is the bridge of leads, or to leads, I should say. Can you give us a little sneak peek into what your talk is about? Because leads is actually an acronym you have on there. And I know it means something. You don't have to give the acronym away, but, just give us a little bit of a sneak peek.
That's so funny. Really short, to be clear, people really don't think of Twitter as a social selling platform. They think of LinkedIn. Why? Because, hey, I can access titles. I can have access corporate history. I can access all these different things. I just need to have LinkedIn. I'm not putting shut on LinkedIn, but I'm saying maybe the reason why you're not getting the most increase in sales, increase in lead gen from organic perspective, or even from an ad perspective, is that maybe you're not incorporating other touch points. One big one is Twitter. And if you want to talk about data, you can access people's lives through Twitter. I can see what they like. If they watch This Is Us, or they're This Is Us fan, I am. So if you are, let's connect. If you're a big sports person, if you're in politics, all these different components, you can get a projection of what they value, what they like, what they don't like. Even by their follows, if they follow certain celebrities or certain accounts, okay, I know certain things about them that I can have in conversation. If you want to put in perspective, LinkedIn is kind of like the event that's happening that you kind of stage, you're all in a chair, it's kind of just serious. And then you get on a Twitter, it's kind of, the social events where you can really have those conversations. Deals are really made and nurtured in those social conversations. Then you go back over to LinkedIn, you both connect, you follow, you do a little dance, and then you sign a contract, and there you go, you got sales. Now, obviously, it's a little more complicated than that, but Twitter can really help facilitate that conversation a little bit further.
I love that. And by the way, Scott loves your art behind you. And actually, this is a great question, Scott. I'm glad you told us how you realize the power of social media. But for those of you watching, share your story in the comments of, how you realized how powerful social media can be. And we'll actually read Scott's really quick. He said, I realized the power of social media about 10 years ago when I commented on a tweet by Troy Aikman when he tweeted an image of Lambeau Field before the first game he ever called. And there as an analyst, I asked him how he felt, and he actually replied, as a diehard Cowboys fan, this was unreal. I totally get that. And at that point, I realized social media could connect me to anyone. So true. And Brian Fanzo had a very similar experience with someone on this show right now. He said it was when that you, Sarah, one of the first people that he ever celebrated when they followed me back. I think that was back in 2011. So it's amazing how social media and everything can connect people. And Brian also says Twitter is an unfiltered fire hose of one-to-one conversations happening in public. No other social network like it. So true. Now, with that said, let's get to you, Katie, because it has been a year, and more than ever, people are relying on you, Katie, and Ecamm to make their presentations amazing, stand out, go live, do cool new things. Your talk is titled How to Live Stream to Twitter Using Ecamm, which I'm sure many people have questions about, and I know you have a lot of great tips to help improve them using Ecamm, because I feel like majority of people, when they buy a product or service or something, they don't maximize the potential of how you can utilize something. And so I'm sure there's a lot of things that people may not be using, and you can be like, hey, this is really cool. But you talk about how video is such a powerful tool in connecting people around the world. And I would love to know just a sneak peek of what you're going to be sharing in your talk about Twitter and going live on it through Ecamm.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a blast putting together this presentation because it really gave me the chance to go step by step through Ecamm, and we're going to talk through all of the different features and all of the different ways that you can use them to create really dynamic live stream broadcasts. And guys, all of the things that we go through in this are specific to Ecamm, but you can take those practices and put them into any different kind of software that you're using, or even live streaming on a phone. So really the thought is, how can you create really dynamic, interesting, exciting, engaging content? And how can you get it out there using the power of Twitter to a huge audience to really continue to spark these conversations, whether you're doing panel discussions and you're bringing on a group like we are today, or you're going one-on-one and just having a really great conversation with everyone out there watching. So yeah, we go through basically every single feature and talk through how you can plan out your content, no matter what industry you're in, no matter what you have to share. Ecamm can help you out with that.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And Katie, I cannot wait for your talk. It's going to be so amazing. We've got Julie Riley in the house. Julie, how are you doing? We've got Nick as well. And Nick said something that's really cool as well. Twitter definitely affords you the largest opportunity to have access to people you wouldn't normally have. Nick, very good point. And people don't realize it with the algorithms and everything else on other social platforms. And I know Brian Fanzo says this a lot too. It's the most easiest way to get outside of your followers, your page followers or anything else, for people to discover you. So if you're not maximizing the power of Twitter, you need to start doing that. And it might be your secret weapon to, ending the year really strong and thriving in 2021. Think about it, guys, and register for the summit. Now, Sarah, this question is for you. You are just amazingly tech savvy. So incredible. Your tips and everything you share, it's just so wonderful and helps so many people. I would love to get some tips from you. If there's, let's say there's someone who is starting from scratch and streamlining their workflow, how would you start with that? And what are some of your biggest hacks, tips, apps that you use to streamline your own workflow?
Okay, so Twitter specifically, one of my must-have tools it's called flock.network. I'm actually on it right now. If I could share my screen with you, it allows me to essentially have almost a relationship repository of updates. So if somebody, when we were traveling frequently, I could get an update when someone came to Las Vegas, when I knew they were here visiting, when someone's makes a big announcement or changes jobs. I can set up workflows to contact people. I can keep track of who's connecting to whom, and it allows me to do a lot of more functionality than you could within the Twitter platform itself. And as someone who is wanting to build relationships there, I think that's really essential to me. I also mentioned the iOS shortcuts. And if you message me on Twitter, I can send you a link to my shortcuts that I've put together. Some of those include Twitter lists popping up at 7 a.m. every morning so I can get a litmus test of media. And I also have some that pop up for, I'm just looking at my phone, direct messages and responding to certain people. So you can set up lots of shortcuts if you are an Apple user. And forgive me, Android folks, I'll have to look for some cool opportunities for you as well. And the last thing is getting content quickly to Twitter. If it's something maybe that I'm not scheduling in Agorapulse to use and share, I've got shortcuts set up to quickly send out a photo or video so I can eliminate steps when I'm on a really tight turnaround. So I'd say, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, Sarah. Yeah, those are amazing. So you need to message Sarah on Twitter right now, so you can get all the inside info, because Sarah, I love you. You are just an absolute tech workflow guru. And it's so wonderful. I love it. And thank you for sharing those tips. And you guys, if you watch her talk on Wednesday, it's free to do that. You will learn that and so much more. And I love the conversation, the side conversation that we're having, because Troy, you said this really well. Twitter is the best platform to nurture without coming off as salesy. And Scott, of course, said gifts help, which is very true. And between Nick and Brian and everyone else, I love this. You guys are having such a great conversation. And Troy, I want to spin it back to you though, because you mentioned that Twitter is an undervalued sales lead gen platform. Can you elaborate on that just a little bit?
Yes, I can. So if you ever want to get your hack on a little bit and just like find some details about people in a fun way that can really help you put some sauce on the conversation, put some sauce on nurturing those relationships, Twitter's the way to go. As I said previously, you can go in and find so many different things about individuals. And not only that person, you can find other people similar to that and cultivate them into groups. If you aren't using Twitter lists, they're not like, oh, it was like a one and done thing. If you're really serious about your sales process, Twitter lists is the way to go. You can put things in certain perspectives, put people in certain tiers of where they are and what they're doing. If I say, hey, I want to connect with someone from Chicago, I want to connect someone who's passionate about marketing, I want to connect someone who's maybe a person of color, I want to connect with someone who can do this or who can do that, and I have all these series of groups and basically lists, and I can put them all in and nurture them and just jump in the conversation, saying, what are their last tweets have been over the last 24 or 48 hours, even the past week, and I can get an assessment of how's their day going. You know, there's things that aren't said just but what people like. If you're having a bad day, they may tend to like certain things that kind of reflect how they feel. And that's something that insight you wouldn't get just off scrolling off of LinkedIn. But you can casually understand that and say, hey, I'm just sending you a positive vibe. I'm sending you some quotes, just, a fun TikTok or something of energy or whatever. And that may open up that conversation in a way like, wow, I get you're trying to court me into buying your product or service, but it's different. It's like you're really trying to establish that relationship, showing that you're meaningful to me. You matter to me. And that's what Twitter can really allow you to do through the platform. Now, I know there's a lot of technicality stuff with that too, but I want to focus on the concepts and the techniques of getting that conversation and that process started.
And I love that. And so Deb, our community manager, already shared your Twitter list, the link to that in our comments. I love putting some sauce on the conversation because I love my sauces. I love my condiments. So that just is fantastic. Eric says, using a Twitter list as a substitute timeline lets you cut out some of the drama on Twitter. This is very true. And Brian Fanzo says, Twitter would suck if it didn't have Twitter lists. Funny enough, I have more private Twitter lists than public. So keep that close. I see that on there, Brian. And one thing your most popular tweet ever, Troy, I just want to read it really quick because I remember this from last time. Noah, this is amazing. Imagination is the engine, content is the fuel, social media is the highway, and marketing is the roadmap. Sales is the destination. So if you just go to find Troy on Twitter, and that's going to be his pinned tweet at the top, over 500 retweets. So I love that, Troy. That is
Full
absolutely.
context, it was back in 2015, so it's not like I posted it yesterday.
It's still relevant though.
Own it.
still
It's awesome. Be proud of it.
It is. It is. And Katie, that brings us back to you and live video. Anyone can go live. Anyone can press the button. So many more people are doing it now. But what are your tips on creating live video that actually stands out, that people enjoy watching, that's engaging? What are some of the tips that you can give, or even utilizing Ecamm for presentations, or, talks that you're going to give at, let's say, I don't know, a Social Pulse Summit? What are some tips to really stand out?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so much of it actually goes before you get into any kind of tools, before you jump into Ecamm Live at all. It's really thinking through, what is that content that you want to share? What is it that makes you special? What is your passion? How do you want to get it out there to people? And really being able to flow through what we call a run of show. So thinking through, okay, this is the content and the value that I want to bring to people. And this is how I'm going to bring it to life with video. And that could be things like really amazing graphics. Maybe you're running video clips. Maybe you're bringing on, an interview guest. Really thinking through and being able to plan that out in advance is so incredibly important to having professional, valuable, helpful content that's going to make a difference in the lives of your viewers. And Ecamm Live helps you to do that really easily with what one of our features called Scenes. So a really super foundational feature, often kind of forgotten because it's not as splashy or shiny as some of the other things that the app can do. But being able to plan out your content in advance, save all of those scenes, put them into folders. You can have multiple shows and be able to just jump into the software, click open your show, and everything is there for you in a way that flows through logically so that you don't forget anything and you have everything all saved and ready to go. So we make it really, really easy for, no matter what your amazing idea is, for you to bring it to life through video and for you to be able to have that planning stage to really make sure that you stay on topic and that you have everything that you need to go.
I love that. And I can't wait for your talk, Katie, because I kind of wish I need to look at your talk before I record my session on Ecamm. But anyway, it's okay. I'll get some tips from you after the fact.
You call me. You send me a DM.
I'll be Katie, help. But Mike just sent a link here. Here's how I use Ecamm for all presentations, live or recorded, which is awesome. So there's some great resources there for you guys. I absolutely love that. And so turning it back to you, Sarah, because we love the round robin. Because that's how we do it. So Sarah, with everything that's happened over the past year, I remember in mid-March, everyone, especially in the US, I know this is a global audience, started freaking out. Schools were closing. Everyone's like, what the hell is going on? And we just didn't know. And if you didn't have a crisis plan set already, you were kind of behind the 8 ball. What should every social media manager or company have in place for a crisis plan, kind of like a little checklist to make sure that they do if there's another COVID or something else going on in the world that every brand needs to recognize and either stay silent about, respond to, that sort of a situation where it's directed at you, or just a global event that you're just like, okay, well, something needs to be said. We need to help our customers, that sort of thing.
So I could get really strategic and tactical with this, but I want to talk about the one tool that I talk to every client about starting in March. And it's always been this way for anything crisis, but especially now. And it's creating your brand's emotional compass. And that is really the catalyst for helping to determine what you share and when. And it would actually prevent a lot of brands who make mistakes. Even when you see brands go viral because they tweet something that people just weren't ready for yet, like perhaps a red and blue sweater side by side. If you really take a look at the fact, you make a list of what people in your network might be feeling right now. And I have a quick pin on my Twitter profile that reviews these. Uncertainty or fear, job loss or furloughed, sick loved ones, or maybe they themselves are ill, loneliness and isolation, overwhelmed or unsure, or financial difficulties. And when you start to think about those things in mass, it can really change the tone or direction of content you were planning to share, or at least you can address or acknowledge so that you don't seem to be blindsided when you get a really negative response. I took those words and made them into a visual graphic for many of our clients, and I actually printed it out and just keep it at my desk as a daily reminder so I don't make those big faux pas or just appear tone deaf.
And I love that. Understanding the emotions and listening to your followers, your customers is so key. So, Sarah, you're so brilliant. And just in case you didn't know this, guys, you can hire Sarah to work on things for you. So, and you'll want to watch her talk. But, this crisis planning was something outside a little bit of Twitter, but you can actually really listen well to your audience in Twitter, see how they're doing, and you'll probably understand more what's going on and trending in the world by utilizing Twitter than you would any other social platform. So Sarah, thank you so much for your advice. We also shared, we have a checklist for crisis management as well on our AgoraPulse blog, so you can check that out. And I love Eric. Eric's comment, this show is moving so fast, it feels like a tweet chat. That's what I was going for, Eric. I just wanted things to keep on moving. I was so planning on that. And let's see. Oh, so Trisha, I'm going to ask that question at the end. I see that. I'm going to ask that at the end. And we're going to go to Troy now. So Troy, you're the acronym king. And I think you're amazing. You really, really are. So we're not going to ask you about your acronym, your leads acronym, but is there an acronym that you absolutely live by every single day, which is probably every one of them? Hi. Oh my gosh.
You win the day. You win the whole show.
Yes.
He's on a hoverboard. He's on a hoverboard right now, just rolling around.
That's even better. Oh my God.
That's awesome. You guys, I've had Zara. People know I've had Zara on my hip this year and crying and giving her juice and things. But Troy, so what is your top acronym you tell everyone to just live by, strategy wise, all of those things? We want to know. And I also want to know how many acronyms you have.
I don't know. This acronym thing just kind of became a thing. I'm not going to make it like every time I'm giving a talk is going to be a new acronym, though I've had people put me on the spot and just make one up off the top of my head, but another conversation another day. Right now, actually the last probably 6 months, it's been Clover, which has really helped people with the business framework, just put them in perspective. So it's beyond just marketing. It incorporates a lot of other things with it. So it's clarity, leverage, optimization, vision and value, execution, and then ROI, retention, and revenue. So that is kind of the framework of here's how we're trying to make this business work. This is why we're trying to do it. And I ask a lot of hard questions. I think when we think about even with Twitter, how much time are we spending on Twitter? How much time are we spending on any social media platform or in our marketing and our website design or anything else? You really got to equate that down to what we're trying to do, how much money we're trying to make. And then we just figure the stuff out. If you are a mom of 3, if you're a dad who has an inspiring thing he wants to do on the side, well, you got to fit time in for that. And you can't. It's just putting the proper systems and strategies in place to allow you to do that. And it's a lot of hard work up front, but once you get in a rhythm, it'll make it a lot easier. So we really bring them on down and say, okay, well, I want to look like I'm really much bigger on social media. Okay, well, define that. Are you talking just followers? Are you talking community? There's a lot of subsets under that. And when we get to the root of everything, then that's when the magic happens. And that's when we get real authentic results.
I love that. And I'm going to have to rewatch it so I can actually write down what Clover stands for, Troy, because you are so awesome. You're so amazing. Do it in the comments, Troy. Do it in the comments.
I got it.
Yeah, you got me. And Nick, I love you. I think you're awesome. I see that comment there. So let's go to you, Katie, because Ecamm is one of those tools that allows you to do so many cool and unique things, obviously going live on different platforms, especially Twitter. But what are some features that makes Ecamm different than others, and some of your favorite features of the tool that people don't, use enough? Like you said, the scenes, but is there something else that's will really make your presentation or your live stand out?
Yeah, this is a great question. I think what makes Ecamm stand out from the crowd is that it isn't browser-based. So it's a Mac app. You download it onto your computer. And although that I'm sure sends people with PCs going, no, it means that we can do a ton of stuff that other apps aren't able to do. One of the main differentiating factors is that we save a high-quality broadcast video of every single live stream that you do right onto your computer. So you don't need to worry about trying to find files later to download. You don't need to worry about losing the quality when different channels compress your video down. You just automatically have that. You'll be able to cut it up and repurpose it however you want. Also, Ecamm is really designed to be simple enough for anyone to get started, but takes you all the way up to as complicated as you want to get. So we have some customers who are just doing, a regular kind of talking head video, and they're just adding their logo in. Maybe they're just going out to Twitter, all the way up to folks who are running, multi-camera, multi-microphone, huge television quality broadcasts, and both customers are able to come in and do what they're able to accomplish using our tool. So it's pretty cool that it really spans the gamut. You're able to do just about anything that you can imagine. As far as fun new features, our newest one out right now is interview mode, which is the ability to bring on remote guests from all over the place and have all of the same kind of functionality and ability that you can do within Ecamm. You can add into your remote interview guests, so you can control your camera settings and add logos and scrolling tickers and run video clips and do just about anything. And then the other one is our camera overlays. So traditionally within Ecamm, you have had to create frames with transparency in order to create kind of different layout styles as you're planning your show. We just released what we're calling camera overlays, which now allows you to create any kind of video design that you're looking for. So you can put, multiple camera angles, you can have them cropped in circles, you can create any kind of backgrounds you're looking for, any layout that you can imagine or design, you can create within the tool. So I think it gives a lot of flexibility, again, for either people who are just getting started all the way up to people that are running like really complicated, super high level broadcasts. So a lot of flexibility in the tool, which makes it a lot of fun.
I love that. And Brian said 5 cameras and using emojis, right, Katie?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. We have all the beginners, and then you have the people like Brian who are like, if the tool can do it, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna push
and Troy's the same way. Troy's the same way. You guys are all just like, oh my God, you guys max it out. But I love it. Yeah. And we've got a great question for our PC users. Will there be an Ecamm app for PCs? And I understand that, you guys. I recently transferred over to Mac everything, iOS last year, and I absolutely love it. But
yeah, so I would love to answer that question with a positive, but my joking answer is that no, our co-founders, who are twin brothers from Massachusetts, have literally never touched a PC. So it wouldn't be as easy as just like checking a box and having the app convert over. We would have to hire an entire team of people to completely redo the app. And we're good at what we're good at, and it's built to be really similar to the Apple philosophy, which is, really easy to use, really beautifully designed, and keeping quality top of mind. So I'm hoping all PC users get new Apples for for the holiday season, so you can jump on board. But if you're a PC user, you are always welcome hanging out in our community and learning some tips and tricks just on live streaming in general. We don't. We're always happy to have everyone in, sharing ideas and sharing their creativity. It's amazing what everyone can create. So
yeah, and Ecamm has a great community too. So just if you can't use Ecamm because you don't have a Mac, you have a PC, that's okay. Still learn from everyone there. The tips and tricks are really awesome. Brian says interview mode on Ecamm is the best. Moving forward, I'm doing all of my interviews using Ecamm Interview Studio exclusively. So that's awesome.
If Brian's doing it, then I'm doing it.
Yeah, this is true. Brian had a shoe cam, a slipper cam, actually, back in June, I think, with his Steelers. Sarah, you need to. Brian, can you find the link? I know you're watching. Can you find the link to that live so everyone can watch it? Because it was intriguing. It was awesome. I know it was on football or sports, but somehow, or the way they did something during COVID, I think. So yeah, get the link, Brian. But so we're gonna do. So we can all be together on this, because this is going to be kind of our final 2 questions clustered together. But I'll start with you, Sarah, like I've been doing. But what are any kind of final apps that you love, you absolutely can't live without? And, moving to the end of the year and into 2021, what advice do you have for people that are maybe struggling right now? They feel overwhelmed, and that can be paralyzing too. Too many businesses realizing that, things aren't just going to be better once it turns 2021. You're still going to have to try different things and new things potentially. But what are your words of advice as we end the year and go into 2021? So this is the question for everyone, and including those of you watching. What are your favorite apps, and what advice do you have ending the year and going to 2021? But handing it over quick to Sarah to answer those questions.
So those are two really big questions, and I want to start with the kind of the mental health lay of the land part first, because I think that's most important. We can have all the apps we want, but if we're not feeling whole, complete, valued, nothing else really matters. One of the things that I have found with every call, I've actually committed to just being really honest about my emotions. I in the past was always like, well, my brand is to be happy and cheerful and upbeat, but just to say I'm having a stressful week or things are a little tough or I'm overwhelmed. And what I found is people really relate back, and I've gotten some really good advice and tips because I was able to be honest. And I think employers need to take that same approach and check in and not penalize people. I've watched my husband, who is a manager and a leader, really model such great behavior with his team and offer tips, tools, resources, and just being a good listener. So that's, I guess, my advice on that. My favorite apps, I have so many, but I'm going to we'll talk about shortcuts if you message me on Twitter, because I've really gotten out of my front page doesn't even have apps anymore. It's all shortcuts. But I love Todoist for getting things done. Agorapulse, Whoop. I'm a team Whoop. That is my fitness non-notification band of choice. Product Hunt. A new one that's launching on Tuesday. I don't think I can say it out loud yet, so you have to message me. I'll share it on Twitter, Instagram, and what else? Because these are all shortcuts. I think that's it. Just we'll tweet about it.
Yes. Message Sarah, you guys, if you have questions on workflow or anything, and she will share like everything for you. I think I watched you, Sarah. You gave away like 50 different things at Social Fresh, and I remember like we were running out of time, and everyone was like taking like pictures of it, and you're just like, guys, we gotta keep moving, and everyone was like so enthralled. It was just so amazing. So, Sarah, you're wonderful. Now, Troy, this question to you, your favorite productivity, content creation apps, and then what advice do you have as you end this year and head into next year, or what maybe things are you continuing to do differently?
Well, I'm actually writing it down. So as I'm talking, I'm going to send it. It's going to be perfectly aligned. So there's this app called Infinity that, think of it like Trello and Monday and Asana all in one. So it literally gives you all the options of how you like layout. So if you like lists, if you like kind of Monday style or different subset of Pulse styles or anything with Asana style, it gives you all those options within there. It's pretty lightweight. It's pretty good alternative if Monday or other ones where you have a big team is kind of squeezing your profits a little bit. It can kind of help with that. Obviously Twitter, that's why I'm here. That's who I am. That's how I became who I am. So I'm obligated. If you have noticed me stepping in my social media game, thank Agorapulse for that. I've been cranking out a lot of my social. I'm actually now taking my own advice and scheduling in advance. I'm doing it. I'm proud of myself. I made it through 1 week, so I'll take the win for that. Outside of that, let's talk about mental health. TikTok has been my go-to to just escape. I know that sounds silly, but man, there are some talented creatives on there, and boy, you can go down the rabbit hole. And I've been one of those people that have been up 24 hours, just like, wait, I didn't sleep, but I feel great. So TikTok has definitely been helpful for me in that regard as well.
And I think you and Brian should connect on that, because he does that a lot too. He loves TikTok and will go down a rabbit hole and just, and he won't sleep the entire night. He's like, oh my God, well, I didn't even think about it because all of this. And Troy, thank you for typing that out too in the comments. I absolutely love that. Now, Katie, bringing it over to you, I want to know, Ecamm, obviously, guys, get Ecamm. But other than Ecamm, what helps you with strategy, workflow, keeping things organized, whether it's personally, professionally, and what advice do you have moving forward as we enter into 2021?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually a really big fan of Trello. I use it for both my personal life as well as everything I do at Ecamm. We love Slack as far as keeping our team communicated. We work with a bunch of different influencers, so we have a ton of different Slack channels so that we're always able to communicate with each other no matter when we're working. Obviously, Agorapulse, I'm a big fan. We're a really small team, so it makes it really easy for us to be able to coordinate and get out ahead of the game, which is awesome. And then my other two favorites are Easel, which we use for all of our graphic design. So being able to create anything that we're pulling into our live stream makes it so easy. And then the last one is Quick, which I've actually only been a recent user of, but I'm really loving it. One of our goals for 2021 is to just get a lot better at repurposing our content. So really being able to kind of break down our videos into smaller clips and then burning on those captions just goes a really long way. And huge shout out to Brian, because I'm pretty sure that he was the one that was nonstop talking about Quick, and I'm finally on the Quick train. So so love keeping tabs on all of my favorite people to see what they're up to and what they're loving.
I love that, Katie. And what advice do you have going into 2021?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I think a lot of what everyone else is saying, it's been a really, really hard year for a lot of people. And I think one of the things that's made it a lot easier, at least for us, is the ability to still be able to communicate and to still have your community. So we're really lucky in a lot of ways that this terrible, awful year is happening at a time where we can have video technology and we can still be able to communicate with each other, be it through any one of the social platforms, Twitter, videos, live streaming. It's easier than ever to still be able to build that community. So take advantage of that. I think it's a really great time to be really real with people and to be really authentically yourself. If you're having a bad day, have a bad day. Have a bad day with other people and feel their pain and feel your pain and be able to work your way through it and learn from each other. Also, I mean, really, this is a really great opportunity to take huge advantage of all of the virtual summits that are out there. So, huge plug for this one that's coming up. But seriously, no other time has given us the opportunity to be able to jump on, in many cases for free, and spend time, taking your skill set to the next level, learning something new, getting to know a ton of people and networking. We're going to get through this together. And understanding yourself and understanding your network and understanding your customers better is going to help you succeed going into 2021.
And those are great tips. Oh my gosh, I love that, Katie. And I love all of our guests. You guys are so amazing. We've got Trisha that also says Canva and Easel have saved her. ClickUp is also awesome. Instagram is her guilty pleasure to search places and travel around the world from my sofa. One thing I love, guys, that I find very useful with my daughter is Facebook events. I've utilized Facebook events so much to find different socially distanced, safe events to take her to, which I absolutely love. Todoist Trisha has also mentioned, and that's been mentioned before on this show. So I think I need to take everyone up on that. And we also, with the world as it is today, we recommend on Agorapulse using category queues within Agorapulse so you can easily schedule and pause content. One of the biggest things when something is going on to the point that you can't have a quick discussion, 5 to 10 minutes, it takes more of the entire team, or maybe having just take a step back because you don't know what's going to happen in the next 24 hours or couple of days. Being able to pause that content and just wait and listen is really important. So we have a lot of cool tools and features that you can really help streamline your work at Agorapulse, as well as make sure that you are crisis ready and it's really, really easy to be ready for anything that comes your way. But with that said, guys, and the crew is going to join me, okay? This is trivia time. We have 2 questions. They're focused on Twitter. So you guys can maybe give your thoughts. You guys can't win, but we're giving away an Agorapulse hat or mug, I should say, or t-shirt. It's your choice, whoever wins. But we have 2 Twitter questions in the theme of Twitter and how powerful it is. And I hopefully from this conversation, you've realized, holy crap, maybe I am not utilizing Twitter to its max potential. Maybe I need to change my strategy. So do that and actually learn even more at the summit. But trivia question number 1. The top 3 countries by user count on Twitter. These are the top 3 countries by user count on Twitter outside the US. Are all of these except which ones? Or which one, I should say. So you've got 4 answers. I kind of read that really funky too. So the top 3 countries by user count on Twitter outside the US are all of these except which one? Is it Brazil, Japan, that's not, India, or Indonesia? So if you guys want to help out all of our fans out there, we already have answers. Trisha says 1B. She says Japan is not in the top 4 because the US is in the top 1 as well. Susan says D. You guys are doing great. Katie, Troy, Sarah, Scott says C. The answer is always C. It's actually not C, guys.
This one's hard.
Don't Google it, guys. No, I mean, you guys are fine, but people watching, don't Google the answer. Troy says D. Mm-hmm. That's a good answer, Troy.
I'm thinking technology.
I know. I have I have to be careful, guys. Just about everyone knows this. I tend to give away the answer. Everyone pauses and listens to the tone of my voice, how I'm saying things. Oh no, Mike's coming on. I won't say any. Let's go to the next question. I saw Mike unmute himself. And I thought he was going to say something. Okay, so next question. Mike, pull up the next question. What percentage of Twitter users say they use the network to get their news?
Ooh.
This is a good one, guys. Yeah. Oh, I love
Was
that.
data taken before 2020?
Oh, no. This was actually the end of October of this year.
Ooh.
So what percentage of Twitter users say they use the network to get their news? Is it 45%, 57, 63, or 71? I'm dead silent on this one, but Julie says B. Oh, no, that was for the first one. Sorry. And when you answer this one, make sure to do 2A, 2B, C, or D. And I realize that there's 2 Ds on there, but, after A is B. This one's called. Actually, if you say D, you never know. I'm kidding.
The answer may be here. Just saying.
Oh my God, I love you guys. You guys are amazing. Great answers. Good job. Troy says C, 63%, because people do get a lot of news from Facebook, though. This is true. This is very true. Good point. Well said. And it's been one of those years where you're more tuned into the news than you've ever been before. So I get that, Troy. I get that. With that said, we'll round it out there and we will announce the winners. I will DM them. I know that was, oops, 2 Ds. I will announce them after 24 hours. So anyone who's watching the replay has a chance to answer. But let's bring the whole crew back on. And I just want to say thank you so much, Katie, Troy, Sarah, all of you guys for joining us and sharing your insights, your expertise, your knowledge, and for everyone watching and the amazing conversation that was happening on the sidelines as well. It was so incredible. And the big thing is, if you want to learn, people's minds have been blown. My mind has been blown through this conversation. But if you just want your mind to be blown nonstop on next Wednesday, then you need to sign up for the Social Post Summit Twitter edition. Now, the amazing thing is we get it. You may be busy on Wednesday. Things happen. That's okay because you sign up. It's 100% free and you get access to the videos for a month after the fact, which, we all need. You can't watch 30 plus sessions in one day. But we're going to have 2 amazing live keynotes. So with Chris Brogan and Goldie Chan. So you definitely want to be watching and be there for those live keynotes and watch as many sessions as you can. You can get your entire team or agency, whatever it is, to sign up, and you can assign them different sessions to watch and take notes. And then you all meet together and you brainstorm on different things and share those ideas. There's so many ways to do this, but the reason why we're doing this is to help you. That's what we care about. We want to give you guys the resources to succeed. We know it's a difficult time, and we feel that Twitter is underutilized a lot, or people kind of brush it to the side, where there's a lot of power in it. And I think within this past hour, we just proved that as well. So with that said, your homework for right after this or over the weekend is to just register, share it with your friends, employees, colleagues, anyone that you think could really benefit from this, because we want to help as many people as possible so they can continue thriving, because we just don't know what the new normal looks like. So with that said, thank you all so much. Get Ecamm, hire Troy, hire Sarah, do all of those things, start using Agorapulse,
Thank you guys.
all of that, and make it an amazing rest of your Friday the 13th, and have an epic weekend as well. We love you guys. Have a good one.